Hey guys, my name is Caleb, and in this video, we're going to be talking about the flippening. Now, if you don't know what the flippening is and you're new to crypto, the flippening is what people refer to as Bitcoin being toppled by Ethereum. Now, Bitcoin has been the #1 cryptocurrency since the beginning of cryptocurrencies, and never has any other cryptocurrency flipped it to outrank it as the #1 by market capitalization. And we're going to be going into depth about why this is kind of coming up a lot lately and some important milestones that have just been crossed just today. So the markets have been absolutely crazy lately. We've seen a massive pullback over the last couple days. As I talked about yesterday in my video, Elon Musk had tweeted out recently that energy efficiency for Bitcoin was getting to the point where it was too much for Tesla to be able to continue accepting it as a form of payment. So they released this tweet here. You can pause and read it if you haven't already, to where they are going to suspend the acceptance of Bitcoin. Now, a lot of important analysts have already debunked this myth that Bitcoin is a very inefficient use of energy, when in fact, really, they're just, when people talk about this, they're really not comparing apples to apples here. Bitcoin, as for what it is actually aiming to do, is very efficient as a energy source to transfer money between people, you know. And if you've read any of the papers research on this, it's very clear that the evidence points to that it is not. As long as you compare apples to apples, Bitcoin compared to the traditional banking system or even gold mining, right, which you could argue Bitcoin is going after either one of these, is very efficient. And if you read Yassin Alamandra, he's the analyst over at ARK. He did a paper on this. You can read it over at arkinvest.com with Bitcoin myths, and you can read the entire thing here or just pause the video and watch it here. There's also many other people that have debunked this myth before, but nonetheless, this came at a terrible time for Bitcoin because it has already, for the last few months, been moving sideways. And I don't have the 20-week EMA, but the 20-week EMA tends to be the point where it bounces off of and holds. It needs to really hold that support. That tends to be the bottom in bull market cycles. That is being tested right now, or just before that announcement from Tesla. So that came at a terrible time for Bitcoin, and as the rest of the alt season and altcoins were pumping, this news came out for Bitcoin to kind of, you know, be the maybe the last knockout we see right before Ethereum overtakes Bitcoin by market capitalization. And we see now this is just for Bitcoin alone, but Bitcoin, the fear and greed index today, is at an all-time, well, very, for the short term, this is the lowest I've seen it, this whole bull run, is at a 26. People are very fearful for the state of Bitcoin, especially as, you know, the Ethereum maximalists, maybe like myself, are talking about the future of Ethereum and everything that's going to be built on Ethereum. And I've talked about this for a long time. This is a very important milestone we've just crossed. 0.08 is our 0.08 of Ethereum is right now what we're trading. I'm sorry, of Bitcoin. So that's this gold line here. We've come up before to where we were 0.14, then we crossed over here 0.8 before. We've crossed over this line we've seen in the last bull run. And now we don't really know where we're going to take over from this point. And basically, if you don't already know, this gold line I'm talking about, this is the valuation of Ethereum against Bitcoin. So we've risen up crazy before the last bull run, came spiked way back down, and we've just crossed. We've kind of hung down here in this low range of 32 Ethereum to 1 Bitcoin ratio. And now we've crossed the point to where now 1 Bitcoin equals, I think it was last time I checked, 16 Ethereum. So, or actually a little bit more. Let's actually see really quick. So it's actually almost 12. So yeah, 1 over that. Yep, Yet we're right about 12. So that is completely insane. And I have been buying Ethereum very aggressively ever since back in September of 2020 in the $300-$400 range. I sold most of my Bitcoin to buy Ethereum because I bought Bitcoin. And I've been talking about that on this channel since back in at the beginning of 2020 when it was around 9,000. And then that had its spike and run up. And then the attention started to shift over to what Ethereum is able to do. So that is a very important statistic. And there's something else right up here on the top of my screen. You may not be able to see it, but Bitcoin dominance has now fallen to 40%, and Ethereum has risen up to 20%. If Ethereum doubles its market cap from this point, its market capitalization, we will see the flippening take place a lot earlier than what a lot of people have seen. And as I've talked about over and over on this channel, whenever Bitcoin starts to slide like this and have these cliff fall-offs, those cliff fall-offs can be fast and very aggressive. And it's very good for the rest of the altcoins, especially Ethereum, as they start to, everyone starts to shift over. They're tired of seeing Bitcoin move sideways. Because imagine if you were thinking about buying Bitcoin and you kept seeing the run-ups, and then you finally gave in and you bought Bitcoin at $53,000, 3 months ago, and you've been in this sideways range and you're sick of it. You FOMO'd in, and now you're seeing everybody else for the same time period, the last 3 months, people who bought Ethereum at $1,400, now they're seeing a $4,100 Ethereum. Now you're starting to possibly think, okay, am I going to move over? And you're starting to hear about everything that Ethereum does more efficiently than Bitcoin. You're hearing about EIP 1559. You're hearing about Ethereum 2, where it's going to move over completely to proof of stake versus proof of work, which, especially with the narrative that Tesla has a very big influence over the Fortune 500 companies and institutional investors, when they come out and make the statement that Bitcoin is no longer green, whether that's true or not, and there's many articles that point to that not being true, it's kind of starting to get a bad reputation among the green narrative, right? And people are starting to make a false claim that it's not. So as Bitcoin is kind of getting this false, narrative that it's not green, Ethereum is actually in the process of moving over to full proof of stake, being a completely green and very energy efficient product. So that's all happening right at the same time. And the last thing I want to point out, as Ethereum crossed over this, you see this line here, this first or second to bottom line, the 20% mark. This chart's not updated, but it just crossed over this 20% mark. Ethereum did for market capitalization, and Bitcoin continues to slide. Now, as you see in the last bull run, we came very close to a flippening. I think this bull run, if we continue right around 30% for Ethereum, if we continue and do that again, I think we are definitely going to see a flippening very, very soon, a lot sooner than a lot of people think. And look at this, by the way, if you don't believe me when I say that Bitcoin's getting a bad reputation among institutional investors, look at the Bitcoin among exchange reserves, right? So this is the total Bitcoin that's on exchanges. We've seen it fall and fall over the last year. And just in the last couple months, people are putting their Bitcoin back on exchanges. And that doesn't always mean that they're ready to sell, but typically that is what this indicator indicates, okay? And then if we look at the exact same indicator and chart for Ethereum, Ethereum has continued to fall off dramatically. And even in the last, 2 weeks, a month, even though the price has gone skyrocketing crazy, we see that it is actually the opposite. It's being pulled off of exchanges and used in smart contracts like DeFi or used to stake Ethereum. So the supply and demand is definitely in Ethereum's favor. The rumors and the news are in Ethereum's favor. Everything is pointing to a flippening happening a lot sooner than I think people realize. And I am very excited to watch and see what takes place. And as people start to discover what Ethereum is able to do. Now, again, I'm not making this video to make any hate on Bitcoin. Bitcoin is fantastic at what it does, and it doesn't deserve the bad reputation of being, being labeled as not green, right? But that's kind of usually how it goes with institutions and brands. Once something gets we've seen it over and over, in cancel culture. Once something gets labeled as something, unfortunately, that's kind of where it tends to go for at least a few months. So I'm kind of interested to see what happens. What do you guys think? Do you think the flippening is happening a lot sooner than people think? Is it going to be happening this summer, or is it not going to be happening till next bull run? I tend to believe and lean on the side that we're going to be seeing it this one. But let me know what you guys think down below in the comments. Thank you guys so much for watching. Also hit that thumbs up button. It really helps out the channel. Thank you so much. We'll see you next time.